If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 4 of The Leaderboard, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast, sponsored by...
Can you hear him?
Yep.
TwinSpires. Oh, you can hear me, Noah? You're good?
Yeah, we're all good.
Am I good? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I'll take you off screen just for a second here. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Howard Krauts, along with Noah Maher. And, well, we had Matt Miller on for a second. We'll get him back. He's all good now. We'll bring him on there. There we go. Matt Miller on the bottom of the screen. Thanks for joining us here. Episode 4 of the Leaderboard as we are here to recap the Clark Betting Challenge last week, the day after Thanksgiving, and to preview the very exciting qualifier for the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge this week, this Saturday, as we're swinging over to the East Coast, as the contest will be at Aqueduct for the Remsen card and the Cigar Mile. A few quick things. Please listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. You can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod as I go ahead and bring up the TwinSpires in the background. That's what I want to do. There we go. And also, we got some very exciting news that I want to talk about a little bit into the show. We have a great website, as you know, hhhracingpodcast.com. But unbeknownst probably to even Noah and Matt, something brand new is up on the website as of today, as I worked with my wonderful co-host, Pete Visco, who runs our website site. We've got some really cool information on there about 2026, which we're actually going to talk about. We've got a great tip sheet. Look below the video player for that. Our Power Picks tip sheet. It's our standard one that comes out on Saturdays with a very positive ROI. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing all right.
I think both Noah and I, it's like kids in school that just can't fake paying attention. So we're both in different TwinSpires tournaments tonight, and we're both waiting to see if the one gets DQ'd or the 3-6 is able to get put up. I think this has contest implications for both of us. So sorry for the distraction, but it's for good reason. These are, like we've talked about, these are fun contests, and we'll see what happens.
Well, it was weird because they lodged the 9 lodged the objection against the 3, and it was only the objection, and then they threw up the inquiry, and now the 1's blinking. So I'm not exactly sure what they're looking at right now.
So our people are going to be watching this later, and they're wondering what the heck is going on. And by the way, welcome to everyone who's watching on the TwinSpires YouTube channel as well. Of course, we're live here on Wednesday. This is the opening night of Turfway Park. We're filming live here at 7:05 Eastern, and there's an inquiry in race 3. We're going to move on to contest plays, but I'll just say this, guys, looking at it, and when a lot of people are going to watch this as a replay, they'll already know. Although the 1 did come over, who was in the 3 path, I don't think he really forced the 3 into the 9, Noah and Matt, in my opinion. I think the 3 sort of came over more on his own, but the fact that all 3 are blinking, I have a feeling they're going to take the 1 down. I don't think it's very obvious. I have it either way. Very quick thoughts, guys. We got to get to contest situation. What do you guys think is going to happen here?
I'm biased. They're taking him down. We'll see.
Okay. I sure hope so.
Is that what you think? So, no. Do you think he deserves to come down? No, I think you do also, right?
I don't know. I saw what you saw. I saw that the 1 didn't put the guy on the 3 in super tight, and I thought the 3 was, I don't know if it was over exaggerated or a little more than he should have, and put the 9 in a pretty tight spot because it definitely got tight in there. But looking at the head on, I wasn't sure it was as tight. But then again, Matt and I are rooting for the 3, so.
I mean, the 1 came over, but there was no contact. I think the 3 sort of exaggerated he thought the 1 was going to keep coming over. I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, we got contest stuff to talk about. We also have, you guys have to let me know because I'm directing here in the middle of the show. So we got a lot of things to talk about. The first thing I want to do is discuss the Clark Betting Challenge and the results. I was playing in it. Matt, you were playing it. Jackson Muniz, of course, who's not here this week, as Noah and Jackson alternate coming on to the leaderboard. He was in it. Let me show the results. It was a very profitable day for me. I didn't accomplish my goal, but it was very profitable. It was a $2,000 buy-in, $1,500 in the bankroll. I'll go ahead and bring up the final results, and we'll talk about what happened at the end of the contest very quickly. And again, you guys feel free to jump in when they have a decision of that race there. But here it is, Matt. Ryan Petriniak, a guy that we all know very well. Matt and Noah know Ryan better than I have. I've not had a chance to meet him in person yet, but I look forward to doing that. Finished with 13,690, won the competition. What did he win? He won a cash prize of 8,100, and he chose an NHC seat, by the way. That's the second one, I believe, instead of a KBC seat.
Yep.
Congratulations, Ryan. Let's see what he did, guys. In general, his big play, he didn't actually have a big play early that cashed. Now, he did have 2 entries, but his big move was in race 11, which coincidentally was a big play for me. That was the Clark, guys. And he did first mission and magnitude over only hit show for $400 each, Matt, and that gave him a $6,300 score in the Clark.
Yep. And this isn't me making fun of a friend or saying something he wouldn't be okay with. He would look at his big move in race 11 and say it included a pretty big mistake. And when I look at what I'm looking at on the screen, I see the same mistake. And that mistake is he left himself with work to do in the 12th race when he could have won it in the 11th. And as we know, especially as we're sitting here going through Turfway, these races are tough to win, and you don't want to be left having to keep winning over and over and over. It's hard. And so when you hit, you've got to hit. And, lucky for him, he guessed right with a pretty reliable horse in that 12th race, but he was not happy with himself. And in his own words, he had to get over it. I mean, he was pretty upset that he was a little short.
Right. And then because he was short, he made a play in the very last race, which obviously had a big effect on what I was doing. Well, his bet didn't affect what I was doing, Noah, but obviously I had to play the last race. Also, he went a 13, not all in. He didn't need to go all in. He went $1,300 win bet on the 6th. There were 3 horses in that last race, Noah, it was a main race. They were all coming off of layoffs. He decided to go with the favorite. He won 3,600 there and took down the final prize.
Yeah, and that last race we talked about on the podcast, it was kind of a tricky race just because most of the logicals were coming off of a long layoff. I know the 2 hadn't run since April. The 4 was a Godolphin runner who we hadn't seen since Turfway Park way back in December around this time, so almost a year layoff for that runner. And then the 6 had run, I think, in the spring in Oaklawn for Asmussen and ran an okay number. They all seemed pretty even, but just there was clear market signal that the 6 was ready to go off the layoff. I think he was 4-1, 9-2 on the morning line, and got bet pretty heavy at the windows for sure.
There's been a few Asmussen horses, Noah and Matt, that ran at Churchill the last 2 weekends who were coming back from layoffs. There's a horse in the last race, I think on Sunday, I'd like to say, that ran absolutely huge. Cannoneer, I think is the name of the horse that just that was a serious horse. By the way, they're still looking at this objection according to what I see right now on my phone. Yep. It's like the Kentucky Derby here with Maxim Security. This is like the Kentucky Derby objection inquiry of the century so far at Surfway. Anyway, so let me ask you a question, Matt, and then I'll talk about my entry quickly, and we'll go to the leaderboard. In your opinion, when a favorite, let's not concern ourselves with whether it was a layoff horse or, Noah mentioned that the board was telling. Let's just forget about the condition of the race. When a favorite, not the heaviest favorite, but when a favorite, 8-5, I think, wins the last race, do you expect to see bigger totals at the end?
Yes.
And why would that be for people that are learning about contests?
There's just more people likely to be playing it. And so you could have someone. The one is third.
The one came down. By the way,
we got our 3 horse.
391, baby. Let's go.
Terrific. Thank you, Chris, for the update. When you've got some people playing a long shot, look, you have a chance with a long shot of someone putting up a really big number. If they had bet a lot with confidence, if they had hit an exacta or trifecta or even a win bet with enough push behind it. Yeah, you could see, a couple people that hit some 8-1 shot or whatever. But when it's an 8-5 shot, you can count on a bunch of people having had that. And it's a question of how hard they hit it. In what form did they bet it? Was it a double from the last race into this? I mean, there's so many permutations to it. But yes, you're right that if it gets a little chalky towards the end, I would slowly start upping my target amounts a little bit.
So my situation, you see, I finished with almost 5,000. So I started with 2, although I did have 2 entries. So it was still a profitable day. I'm sorry, only 1 entry. Excuse me. It's still a profitable day for me for sure. My big play, interesting enough. So I made a play early. I had a nice double 11 with 6 from race 5 to race 6. That got me 1,400. My big play was coincidentally a similar situation as Rian, although I played the Regret Noah, the stake race on turf into the Clark. My only regret, Noah, and look, you can, I know how you feel on first mission, so I'll put you on the spot a little bit. But look, if Ryan Petrinic also like first mission, I don't feel quite as bad. I know you're not the biggest fan. My only regret, Noah, is I did cash. You can see that I did a weighted. You can't tell by here, but I did a Dutch double. My only regret was, putting the first mission on there and not just going only with magnitude. Now, for full disclosure, everyone, if I had done that, I still would have been short of the top 2, and I would have had to make another play in the last race anyway. And my goal in this tournament, Noah, is to get in the top 2. I like the KDBDC, obviously, but you got an extra 3 months for that. I'm trying to get into the top 2 for the NHC. When Willie D's scratched, and for people that know the Clark, know what I'm talking about, that was the 8 horse that was scheduled to go in that race. That was really, I thought, Noah, the main speed issue for Magnitude. When he scratched, I really, really liked Magnitude, but I still thought First Vision could win. So my only regret would not be just going all in there on that double on Magnitude. But anyway, I certainly hit that double nicely.
Yeah, no, it was a great play. It kind of seemed like Lush Lips was a pretty good shoe-in. I know Jackson made a good play, and he was able to hit that exact with that 10 runner that you liked a little bit. And
look above. No, I actually wish the 10 would have won because I did have the double with 10-9. I think a lot of people would have been out, or the totals would have been much lower if Lush Lips had lost. So actually, you can see I did like the 10 in the turf race also. Sorry, no.
Yeah, and that was a great sniff out by you guys because there wasn't a ton of pace in there. I know Classic Q kind of had things her own way, and that 10 was flying. So that was a good play for you and good play for Jackson as well.
Yeah, and then in the last race, look, I had to make a decision. Matt knows what I did because I had a brief conversation with him. Not really advice, more just talking through what I was going to be doing and just, wanted his opinion. Look, I went with Pitkin, Noah, and Matt. It was obviously the wrong play. I went 1,500, which would have gotten me very close to the top 2, if not in the top 2 for sure. I just didn't have a strong opinion. In fact, Matt, if you remember, I talked to you before the day started and said I don't really have a strong opinion in the last race. I really don't want it to come down to that. Unfortunately, some of the doubles I played, the dollars went down. The final totals were pretty big, and I was forced to play the last race. Now, I know we can talk very briefly. I know you said, well, even if you don't like the last race, you still have to play it sometimes, which I did. And sometimes you go with the favorite, even if you don't like the favorite. I understand that, but the issue, Noah, and you don't know this, but the issue was I would have had to shove all in on a favorite that I didn't necessarily have a strong opinion on, and I just didn't want to do that. So you can call me at home, you can call me a coward or a bad contest player, you can call me anything you want at home. But Matt, I just didn't want to shove $6,000 into a horse that was awful layoff that I didn't have confidence in, whether he was even taking money or not. And even if I'd hit that, I didn't know if I was going to get to the top 2 anyway. So for me, there were a lot of factors, but I can understand people being critical of me. That's fine.
Yeah, look, without there's no way I'm going to criticize your values or how you look at money or any of that. Let's just be objective and say you passed on an overlay. That favorite was playing as a pretty good overlay if you had hit it pretty hard, and you chose not to play that overlay. I don't think you go to gambling prison for failing to take advantage of every overlay you see. But I would say in general, we're trying pretty hard to find those. So in general, it's a good idea to hit that. But if you didn't like it, you didn't like it, and we move on.
Where is Gambling Prison located? What city would that be?
I think we all know exactly where it is.
Okay. All right.
We're all there at different points. We all know.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's what happened. By the way, we'd be very remiss if I didn't mention our good buddy Jackson Muniz, who finished right above me in 9th, who had an excellent tournament as well. He was waiting until the turf race, as you said, Noah, and he had the exact. He didn't play Classic Q with it. That got him to 8,000. He didn't bet quite as much at the end as I thought he would. He was a little more conservative. I'm not going to say, wrong or prison, as Matt put it, but he bet a little bit less at the end, but he's actually finished in 9th, and overall a good tournament for him.
Yeah, it was good. I think he was a little disappointed that he wasn't able to get it home. I know him and Mikey had split the 2 entries, so they used Lush Lips and then used 4 horses outside of Classic Q underneath to get that exacta. So got him in a great spot. Just a matter of time and getting yourself into spots like that. You're going to hit one of them, and I know he's itching to get a big one here.
Chris Couples on the bottom of the screen won cash contest for the day. Congratulations, Chris. But I don't think I would have made the same bet at higher stakes by betting a horse I did not like. He's sort of backing up what I said. Chris, yeah. I tend to agree with you. From Thomas Spinoza, I get doing that. Howard, sometimes it's a financial decision. I know Matt would say it can't be a financial decision. That's a whole other conversation. It really wasn't as much of a financial decision, though, Tom, as it was that I just didn't love the horse that much to put $6,000 on it. And also, if I did that, I didn't know if I was getting the top 2 anyway. So if I knew I was getting the top 2 for sure, I could understand maybe doing that. But anyway, it's really fascinating. Kevin Lux, who's an excellent player, is in the chat. Kevin, thanks for joining the show. You can remember you can't hide from the CAW.
No,
you'll see what I mean when this goes official.
He's
talking about
he's
now.
Talking about that one. So at Turfway, the 1 and the 3 were both 2-1 or 8-5.
They were 2-1 a lot better.
And I mean the entire betting. They're in the gate, and then of course they open the gate, and one opens at half the price of the other.
Okay.
And thankfully, that was the one that committed the foul. So we were rooting for the 5-2 shot instead of the 4-5 shot.
Okay. Oh well, now I know. Look at this, guys. Now I know why he's complaining. This is the live tournament right now as we speak. So, Kevin, you're in first. What are you worried about? Matt, you're fine. I mean, what are you guys worried about? It's all good. It's all good.
So far, so good. Well,
I just played a minimum there. Anyway, we got too many contests on the brain here, guys. Let's go to so congratulations, everyone, in the Clark Betting Challenge. Let's go quickly, Matt, to the current leaderboard. I know you want to mention something about the leaderboards. Remind me now where to go. Tournaments, and then register, and then go to a leaderboard, correct?
Yeah, so tournaments, and then that second tab is TwinSpires Tour Leaderboard.
The overall one?
We can start there, sure. So this is just kind of a reminder for people, and it's really timely to be doing this. So I'm going to be combining a quick explanation of the tour with my, call it tip of the week or whatever. We've talked already that there is this season-long tournament going on. We are about to enter session 4. And without trying to turn anyone away from the overall leaderboard, I will admit, you've got a bunch of seasoned players there. You could see it to the right. They have 40, the maximum 40 possible scores. So now they're just trying to improve their scores. But you've had people at this now for 3/4 of a year. The good news is that session 4, which starts tomorrow, while the overall leaderboard stays the same, the session 4 leaderboard all starts at zeros. And so if you keep going down, Howard, where you just were, that is session 3 that just finished. I mean, look at the name again, Ryan Petruniak, one more time. He won session 3. He was fantastic. Steven Zare was fantastic. I actually got passed by him in the last week and had to come up with one heck of an improbable run to get myself wedged back into second. But, the bottom line is, and this is a really good place to stop, I'm going to pick on Matt Najunkin, who's a friend of a whole bunch of us and who won't mind this at all. For his session 3, he scored 257 points. And 8 tournaments, the maximum, contributed to that? Well, math teacher, do some quick math. What is that? Like 33 points per tournament or something like that he's scoring.
Sure. Not quite that much.
So how does someone get 30 points in a tournament? We don't have to move around the screen to know this. When you go up, it'll tell you get 10 points for winning a tournament. You get a certain number of points for entering a tournament. You also get points for your betting dollars. And the more you bet, shocker, this is an ADW that wants you to bet. The more you bet, you get additional points. And so the point that I'm now trying to make that it doesn't make the tour bad or anything like that. But when we go back to Matt McJunkin, and you can look at the other names beneath him, Henry Carson, who's a great player, Mike Saletta, a friend of all of ours. These people, again, exactly where you are, Howard. If you look at their average score per event for the 8 scoring events, what these people are essentially doing is killing it in 8 events. They're winning, they're having a nice score, they're making big bets, but you can only get so many points by doing that. And as you look, right, I guarantee you those Matt McJunkin 8 tournaments are wins. And yet you're looking at his total saying, how are you only get 30 something a total? It doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at Ryan Petruniak up above, who's getting a whopping, a whopping 75 points per tournament. Here's the answer. It's the churn. And the real answer, I'm not going to just leave it at that. You can get these churn points in all of the tournaments offered by TwinSpires. It's really expensive and hard to do that in a big tournament like the Clark, where if you start with a bankroll, I think it was $1,000, for every $500 you bet, you get 1 point. It's for every half your bankroll. So I am begging people, you do what you want, but in the bigger tournaments, these are really not for screwing around, betting huge amounts of money trying to get points. Go to not you, Howard, now, but in general, my suggestion is go look at the menu of tournaments. You can click that button that tells you which are available for points. And there are many of these that are $50. It's a $35 bankroll. That's $17.50 bet per point. And if you can hit something for a couple $100 like I did the other day, make a couple show bets, make a win bet, keep pushing, all of a sudden, I think I got 100 points in one day, and I'm back to second place instead of third. This is doable by anybody. For those of you that enjoy show parlays, this is perfect. It's a little harder than it seems to be betting pretty much all in all day, but it is the trick to scoring points in these things. So as you look and try and wonder, wow, I'm doing well in the tournaments, but why am I not killing it in the tour? Yeah, tour points and tour wins are different. And again, they've got a great menu of options. Go for the cheaper tournaments. These $50 bankroll, if your bankroll's $50, it's $25 a point. I would not be waiting for the $1,000 tournaments to be trying this at $500 a point. It's just too expensive when you're wrong. So honestly,
just be smart with your entries would be your tip for the day in general, correct?
Exactly. If you're focused on points, pick the cheaper tournaments. And I don't care what names you've seen on the leaderboard up till now. It starts all with zeros. And if someone comes out tomorrow and is able to get a pretty good tournament going, I mean, these scores stick and they only take the top 8. And so all you need is a couple really good ones to get something going.
Terrific. It's great advice, especially people that have a desire to move up in the leaderboard and get some extra cash really outside of the tournament. 2 quick announcements, and then Noah, we need to talk about the big tournament this weekend. First of all, Team HHH for 2026 is back, and it is back in a big way because Noah and Matt, if anyone is interested in subscribing to our Team HHH membership, which is our premier membership, you get almost 100 tip sheets throughout the year, but we've added some stuff, guys. Free contest jockey entries, Noah and Matt, for everyone, free money. This is free money that you can win playing contests. There's a lot more information. Let me just show everyone where you get it. You go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. There it is. There's the address. Real easy to remember, hhhracingpodcast.com. And now on the top of the screen, you just click on this banner up here, and it takes you to our Team HHH Power Picks for 2026. I know a lot of people watching right now, Matt and Noah, are members. I can't even emphasize enough how important it is to sign up for next year, especially, and Matt, you always say let someone else promote. So I'll let you promote it in a second. But you can see two things. First of all, again, free entry into Contest Jockey. If you don't know what that is, we'll explain it to you. We're also going to do some Syndicate Pick 6 bets as well, only for people in Team HHH. Matt, it's an incredible bargain. You can save over $100, and that's not including our new stuff that we have for 2026.
Correct. And frankly, I'm the person responsible for telling Howard one day, you need to create something that wraps up all the stuff you do so that it's not so many transactions. That was the birth of Team HHH, where you can just go once and subscribe for everything. I highly recommend doing that. And as far as these contest jockey contests are concerned, especially because we're on a TwinSpires show, I want to be sensitive to that. These are not competitive with TwinSpires contests.
No, definitely not.
These are internal little house contests that are free, where we're just trying, if someone has a good day, we're trying to get them an extra prize here or there.
Yes.
But without question, I think any one of us would tell you the action is with TwinSpires. And, like I said, every single weekend, it's a different menu, different dollar amounts, different whatever. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It does not compete. Thank you for bringing that. It does not compete with TwinSpires. It's just something internal that we do for fun. Noah, talk about what we see at the bottom of the screen. Why don't you read that and just explain to people as we get into talking about the next contest this Saturday, the big one.
Yeah, Weekend Warriors. We're going to be doing that on Saturday, 2:45 Eastern to 4:15. Won't be Churchill Downs because they just wrapped up. It'll be Aqueduct.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't change that one.
We'll be talking about a couple of those races. I know they got the KDBC qualifier coming up on Saturday, and Matt is begging to say something.
It's one word, Howard.
I already made that mistake.
It's up there again.
What did I do?
On TwinSpires.
I believe this one's for KDBC.
Oh my God, you just made my day, Howard. Thank you.
Wow. Diane changed it on the banner.
You made my day. That's fantastic. It happens, people.
All right.
I think the one on Saturday is for the KDBC, correct, Matt?
Yes, it is. I was very lazy with this banner. No, you guys are exactly right.
This upcoming Saturday is KDBC, and then Turfway, they start their big contests the following Saturday with the $1,500 synthetic challenge.
Yes. I did not change. I only changed one part of the banner. Sorry, I changed it very late, and that's a host fail complete on my part. So again, this Saturday, 2:45 to 4:15 Eastern, Aqueduct, the last three races. It's the Clark. No, sorry. It's the Remsen, then the Cigar Mile, and then the $500,000 Stallion Series New York bred race. Correct, Noah?
Yes. That's
okay.
And from a tournament perspective, I would say the premier tournament this weekend, it's not one of the huge ones. It's one of the $500 qualifiers. So it'll get you into the KDBC. There's another one of those coming up in a couple of weeks. I think they're calling that one the Gun Runner. There is, we talked about it last time, the Turfway Synthetic Betting Challenge. That's a $1,500 contest. So obviously for these larger ones, they're trying to help people get in. You can either just buy your way in, but you can also win these feeders to find your way in or win.
No doubt about it. A lot of ways to get in. Please go to TwinSpires.com and look that up. All right, we got about 10 minutes here maximum. Let's talk about Saturday. I'm sure you looked at the card already for Saturday. It's a really good card. It's the last major card in New York for 2025, highlighted by the Remsen and the Cigar Mile. I personally have a lot of interest in the Remsen, because although people don't know why, but I'll start talking about it on the show because there's two horses running that I have already made future Kentucky Derby bets in at not quite Sierra Leone odds, but odds that I'm somewhat comfortable with. I was actually hoping to get better odds, Noah. But as we've talked about on screen and privately, we're never getting the Sierra Leone odds that we got 2 years ago.
Ever again.
At literally ever at 150 to 1. Noah, let's talk very quickly about Saturday. Early in the card, is there a particular race or spot you would suggest people take a look at for an early punch?
I think race 5 was a spot that I would be looking if I were playing. I looked closely at race 3, which is the Demoiselle, but it's 2-year-old fillies going 9 furlongs. I mean, they change by the day. So I'd be a little reluctant to maybe play that spot, even though it's a 6-horse field. You could maybe get a horse that jumps up big and improve second time or third time out. El Grande O, I think David's actually got him at 9 to 5 on the morning line. I know we don't have morning lines, but I believe he did them for the stakes races. So those are out if you want to find those over on his Twitter. El Grande O really kind of found a niche going one turn after they, tried the Derby Trail, threw in a 94 and a 96, I believe at the end of last year, maybe at the beginning of this year as well. Threw in a couple clunkers, but I thought you could kind of make some excuses for those. He tried a mile against some pretty good New York breds. I thought Bank Frenzy is a pretty good one that we saw over the summer at Saratoga. And then the 2 races after that, the one in February, had a brutal trip. Then the comebacker tried to come back at the end of August, was declared a non-starter, had no chance in that race. I really thought his last race really was the eye-opener where he ran against Acoustic Avenue, who's back in this race for Linda as well. And then the third place finisher was Spike Zone, who you can see beat him 3 back. I thought he really was impressive, went and got those 2, and they weren't stopping at all. And Matt, you'd love this. Pratt and Linda, they've been killing it at Aqueduct so far. 6 for the last 7. So obviously firing on
6, 7.
And Acoustic Ave's the other one that maybe could be the other upsetter, just because that he had run 3 races in 16 days. He ran one October 6th and then 2 more ending on the October 25th race in the Hudson. So giving him a little bit of a break, but obviously the one that Pratt's on is going to take a little more market signal, and I think that's the direction that you should probably go.
Linda, actually, that's Linda also. So Linda's got 2. Although, well, Lascano's actually her go-to rider, but Pratt is on the 1. So very interesting. There's a few smaller fields there early in the card, Matt. So, but Noah is suggesting you maybe avoid the 2-year-old race. I totally understand that. Matt, you and I have had conversations about that many, many times. So very interesting. Again, the field sizes, let me just go back. So everyone could see, because field size is important. Matt, I know, without even handicapping anything, just a quick glance at the field sizes tells you all you need to know if you want to make an early play. Not that it's always going to be in a smaller field, but chances are would be in a smaller field as opposed to a larger field.
Just simple logic. Just looking at the screen you're on would tell me if I'm sitting here with 2 entries in a contest looking to make a move, one of them's probably going to fall apart. One of them's going to advance nicely. You tell me, would you rather try to thread that needle in a 12-horse race or in a 6 or 7-horse race? It doesn't always have to be the favorite, but just eliminating some of the noise with the sheer number of horses. This card has the set, especially with those stake races, and I do like the Demoiselle as well. I'll be playing early for sure, and then probably relaxing for a little while, and then getting involved later if I have to.
At the end of the card, again, and this is sort of similar, Noah, to what we saw in the Clark, where you see back-to-back high-level stake races, and I'm not exactly sure what people are going to do, but you could certainly make a play a double in the Remsen and the Cigar Mile. Now, the Remsen is also a 2-year-old race, though, Noah. It's one of the premier 2-year-old races of the year. There's been many horses coming out of there that go on the Kentucky Derby. I'm selfishly hoping that will be the case again. But as we go to that field, it's a big field of 12, and there's a lot of ways to go. So I don't know if people are going to actually use this as a spot. I would say realistically, 4 or 5 horses can win this race.
Yeah, I think so too. And I know you guys are going to be talking about that tomorrow night for Picks and Ponies, so we don't have to go into this race too much in depth. If I were playing this race, the direction I'd go is probably the 9 Renegade for IRAD and Fletcher, who I thought ran pretty big second time out. Got taken down for a little hurting or interference against Paladin, who I think is actually your 3-1 favorite on David's morning line. I wasn't exactly sure why they took him down, but regardless, I kind of thought he beat him on the square, improved greatly from that start from first out to second out. And the early notion, I think, from that It's Our Time maiden race was that the group wasn't very good. But outside of him, everybody else came back to improve their buyers. The second place finisher in that race hadn't come back yet. And that was one that Whit Beckman had talked about. That was going to be a pretty good 2-year-old prospect of his. So I just like the way that he did it last time. Maybe you get some 2-year-olds that heat things up on the front end. If he drops back and makes one run, I think he's got a big shot.
Yeah, you've got Talkin for Gargans in there. Igniter, who won a very good maiden race for Dutro. Courting, who cost $5 million for Pletcher. This is a full, I think it's the full to Clairiere. Okay, there's some breeding there. And then you mentioned the number 2 horse, Paladin, or Paladin. I think it's actually pronounced Paladin. And I have not said this publicly yet, but I'll say it now. Guys, this is my main future Derby play for 2026. I've already made a bet, and I got 40-1. This was before the TwinSpires Pool 2 came out. I was hoping to get more like 60 or 70. I'm slightly embarrassed to get only 40, to be very honest, because I think anyone that's playing any future Derby horse under 20-1 is a complete waste of money. And I'm including Ted Noffey in that. Ted Noffey at 6-1, no disrespect, is completely insane and ridiculous, but people can do whatever they want with their money. Anyway, I was hoping to get, 60 on Paladin. I got 40. I also have a little on Courting also, actually used that $5 million horse. So as Matt knows, especially guys, I like long-winded 2-year-olds that have distance breeding. A perfect example, not to go on future derbies, but we can end the show this way, Noah. A horse that just Boyd, right? Boyd just won at Churchill.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's a street boss, Noah. And he's like 20-1 in the Derby Future Poll. I get it. It's Baffert. Okay, I understand. Baffert is amazing, right? But people just fall in love with these speed horses that win these sprint races, and there's nothing in that horse's breeding. Right? It's like Barnes 2.0. Maybe Boyd's going to win the Derby. I wouldn't touch that horse at 50-1 based on the breeding. I don't think people the recency bias, Noah, is in full force right now. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, 100%. It happens every year. I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
you saw with Barnes last year when the main breaker was at Churchill, and obviously they brought him over because they thought the sprint was a good spot for him. Now maybe they think that longer for him is better long term, but breeding doesn't necessarily indicate it. And
No,
I'd be reluctant to take anything close to that on a horse like that this early.
I'd
Real
love
quick,
to
Matt?
see them. I'd love to see them change these bets from winning the Derby to making the Derby. And I'm not sure these future bets would get any easier to hit. It's pretty hard.
well, it would still be difficult, but obviously there's a big difference between getting in the
I'm
Derby
obviously
and
making
winning
a
it.
joke, but that's
Understood.
the point.
No, it's hard.
Awfully hard.
And I just want to be clear, we're going to end the show here tonight. We appreciate everyone watching, because in 20 minutes we have Benton Boozin with Kyle, Patrick, and not going to say who, our brand new co-host of Benton Boozin. So check it out in 20 minutes, 8 o'clock Eastern. No, it's all right. It's going to be okay. No, it'll be all right. That's coming up here in 20 minutes, 8 p.m. Eastern. I do want to say this tomorrow night, but on Picks and Ponies, myself, Pete, and Paul. No, Pete. Tomorrow's gonna be myself and Paul. We're gonna go through that late pick 5 sequence for this contest, guys. So you want to make sure you check that out. And I do want to say, obviously, I'll talk about Paladin. That doesn't mean Paladin's my top pick, by the way, on Saturday. But if Paladin does what Sierra Leone did 2 years ago, guys, I'd be very happy. Matt is in first. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Matt's
I somehow scratched out a minimum as we were sitting here without anybody noticing.
Okay.
And so
Well, enjoy that, Max. I'll be passing you in a few races, so enjoy
Bring
that
it.
first. Wow, mic drop. Anyway, a lot of fun here. We're talking about past contests, current contests this Saturday. Noah and Matt will be with me, by the way, again on Saturday. Weekend Warriors, 2:45 to 4:15. Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge Qualifier at Aqueduct, with co-sponsored by TwinSpires. One word. There we go, Matt. I cleaned it all up. There we go. For Noah Maher and for Matt Miller, this has been your host of the Leaderboard, episode 4. Howard Kravitz, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you're going to see us on Saturday for Weekend Warriors. And as we always say to wrap up the show, crush your bets and any contest for TwinSpires you play this weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.